Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I've got your first gameplay and overview of the CCVL, a rank 6 battle rating 10.0 light tank for the American Ground Forces tech tree. Now this is the top level reward for the Overpowered Crafting Event, and it features many interesting sort of tidbits on it, but overall at 10.0 BR, I'm not sure if it's the strongest light tank in game, but, you know, we can certainly look that one over and kind of judge it by looking at the modifications now. So that said, it has a 105mm M68A1 cannon, which I believe is the same. That's correct. It is the same as what we have on the M1 Abrams, which shares its currently 10.0 BR. It also has 32 66mm smoke grenades, and as of right now, whether it's 66mm smoke grenades, whether it's 76mm smoke grenades, or even the larger Russian smoke grenades, they are the same in terms of effectiveness. So 32 of those is very, very nice. It also has a great turret rotation speed, not the best, but still very, very good, and an excellent reload rate at 5 seconds, which is due to an autoloader. Now, as you could have guessed, this has very little armor, and will pretty much be able to be attacked and destroyed by everything above an HMG. Now, that said, let's look at some of these actual modifications, and for its early shell, you have the M735, which is decent. It's pretty much like the C76A1, which is what the A6 or the XM8 has, except worse. So as you can see here, this has 166mm of armor pen at 60 degrees 10 meters. This has 204. So that's pretty much what you're going to be getting until you get to the last shell, the last line of modifications, which really sucks, because the M833 is actually pretty decent. Not fantastic, especially at 10.0 BR, but it is decent. Now, it does have thermals for gunner and commander, and which means that, of course, it does have a commander sight, whereas, like, for example, the XM8 does not, and the AGS does have a commander sight, but, again, they are just Gen 1. It does also have smoke grenade and a HESH shell, and I'm not really sure how usable the HESH shell is going to be, but the smoke grenade is always nice. It does, of course, have a pretty good power to weight ratio, not the best. For example, the XM8 does, I believe, have a slightly better power to weight ratio, but it's pretty negligible. That being said, let's get into some gameplay here, see what we could do, and you know, maybe make some quick assumptions about this vehicle. Let's get into it. So a few important things to note here as we get this gameplay started. So first and foremost, I mean, this thing is very similar to the XM8, even though the XM8 is 0.7 BR lower than this. I almost kind of feel like this is too high of a BR, which is very unusual for event vehicles. A lot of people might disagree with me, but between the lack of armor, the lack of, I mean, just so much with this vehicle, it doesn't have an incredible APF SDS shell, its HESH shell. Like, people might say, oh, well, it has HESH, is this, that? It's like, really, who uses HESH at this BR? There's very few applications for it. And the ones that you will typically run into are going to be, you know, very situational and very uncommon. You know, something that it's like it won't really matter even if you do use it, because you're still going to win. So that said, this vehicle functioned very similarly to the XM8, and I feel like that's the obvious comparison to make. But I feel like a better comparison to make is going to be against the CV90105 XC8. Now, a lot of... Ooh, whoa, what the heck? Huh. What? This guy... Okay. So with the XC8, that was so weird. With the XC8, you have a vehicle that, in my opinion, is excellent. 9.3 BR. Really good. And... Okay, I'm going to go up here. Hopefully he's damaged. Oh, yeah, he looks damaged. Okay, good. And it's got a 5.0 BR, or a 5.0 reload speed, which is what this has. It has an actually more powerful APF SDS shell than this has. It's got... Where's this guy being hit from, I wonder? Okay, that's not... Okay, he's being healed. Okay, his gunner's dead. Oh, I'm right in the line of fire if he... Okay. So, this has a lesser APF SDS shell. It's got, in my opinion, I think lesser mobility. And I will be doing an XC8 review. I just died from an Orion, of course. But it's got much lesser characteristics than that, but it's 0.7 BR higher. Now, going back to the XC8, I feel like, you know, that thing, it's got Gen 2 thermals as well, which is not something that I mentioned initially. But that is huge. Like, Gen 2 thermals, like I said, if you guys don't know the difference between Gen 1, Gen 2 thermals, I suggest that you look at that video I made. It's only about 1 minute 40 seconds long, but it very clearly shows the difference between Gen 1, Gen 2, and Gen 3 thermals, and it's a huge difference between Gen 1 and Gen 2. Not that much between Gen 2, Gen 3. In fact, actually, a lot of people don't even know the difference. But insofar as the initial two are concerned, it's a pretty hefty change. So I'm going to hope I don't get shot crossing the road here. I'm going to try to save my buddy. Is Abrams. Looks like he's already killed him. Okay, that made my life a little bit more dangerous. But I think a more apt comparison with this vehicle might be with the AGS, arguably. So the AGS is part of the same program that developed this vehicle, and it has a lack of a turret, or rather a lack of a crewed turret. So it's got basically a giant gun on the top of it, kind of like how the Striker is, the M1128. And even though it doesn't have as good of a top shell as this in the M833, yeah. So even though it doesn't have that shell, it's still pretty decent, and it's at 9.0 BR. So of course, I mean, the biggest problem with this, I feel like, is that one, it doesn't have any armor. Two, it's got an autoloader, but I mean, not that the autoloader's a problem, but other vehicles have autoloaders as well around this BR. Like, for example, like I said, the XC8. And that's at 5 seconds reload. This is at 5 seconds reload, but that has an objectively better shell. In much the same way, that has Gen 2 thermals, which are objectively better than Gen 1. It also has arguably better armor, but definitely better armor shaping, at least around the front, and a host of other features which are, you know, better. It's got better gun depression, better cannon elevation. It's just better. It's at 9.3 BR. So it's a pretty weird thing that this is at 10.0. Again, I'm not really sure why. It doesn't have special armor. It's not composite. It's just kind of a very, I don't know, standard-ish light tank, which is strange. Okay, we got some enemies coming up. But again, it just doesn't feel like I can justify, or like it should be 10.0, which is odd, because a lot of the time what Gaijin will do is they will take these event vehicles and they will, I don't know if it's on purpose or not. I mean, I would imagine it is, given the track record, because you can't really screw it up that many times, but I guess they do. But they basically have it where, I mean, over time, like many times in the past, they've given... Is that the enemy? That's not the enemy. Where's the enemy? Where they've kind of under BR'd vehicles, and then right after the event is done, and you start seeing, you know, people picking these up on the marketplace, or whatever the case may be, then they increase the BR. But in this instance, it almost kind of seems like it's the opposite, and it's very weird. Because again, just comment below what you guys think about this, because I just don't see why it should be 10.0 BR. It just doesn't seem right to me. It's very strange. I mean, I get it. It also has a ton of smoke grenades. But I don't know. Is that really 10.0 BR worthy? Like, what about this is 10.0 BR worthy? Like, really, what about this makes it really all that worth being a 10.0 BR vehicle? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So before this gameplay even started, before I even started, are you serious? Oh, no, no, don't do this to me. I'm like backing up, and then I get blocked by that thing. Anyways, as you can see, I've already lost a crew member. This thing, like I said, has virtually no armor. It is just terrible in that regard. But can I? Okay, good. I got the cannon breach. That's nice. Oh, you know what? Hesh. This might. Oh, okay, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I got the kill. But one thing I noticed is that when full, it actually has a 19-round ready rack, which is obviously very nice, but is that really necessary? I don't know. There's not really a ton of engagements that you'll be in, at least in my experience, that are going to necessitate such a large ready rack. Typically, what, 5? 5 is, 10 is typically going to be sufficient for most people. So having this many, this large of a ready rack is a bit much. But of course, you know, I guess the more the merrier. Can't really hurt. Okay, we got some enemies over here. Oh, he sees me. 2 kills, 1 assist, and a base cap. Not too shabby thus far. I'm going to try to pull over here and do this. So, this is a... You know, I'm not going to really be doing any matches outside of this one. This last one. But this feels like a very... Ooh, that was not good, not good, not good. You know what? I don't actually have to die by him. But this feels like a very effective quick strike vehicle. But again, I question whether or not it really should be 10.0 BR. It feels like there are better vehicles or similar vehicles that aren't much better or worse at lower BRs. But one big feature, I guess, on this is that it has a ton of smoke shells. So that's really cool, too. I'm going to move over here. I'm going to make him still hopefully think that I'm over here by continuously launching those smoke grenades. I'm going to turn around, go around. He's going to probably kill me, I'm assuming. But I like to play aggressively. This is like my sort of tank for aggressive play styles. Oh, that was ugly. Okay, so I actually just died, which sucks. But here I am coming back. But like I said, this is going to be the last match I have. But, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of ground RB. I used to be more so, but now that drones are a part of it, a little bit less. It's just a little bit unfortunate, in my opinion, because you have vehicles like this where it's just out of nowhere you die. And really, that can be said about anything because, I mean, who really armors the roof? Cough, cough, Russia. But it's not really, I don't know. There's just, this vehicle just feels a little bit generic. It feels very similar to the previous light tanks released in crafting events for the US. Not that that's bad, but it just doesn't feel unique. And again, oh, that's what it is. The VFM-3, I think. This looks very similar to the VFM-3. It's got very similar capabilities to the XM8 to... Okay, that's not a living tank. Not that tanks are alive, but you get the idea. Where is this guy? And there we go. In summation, the CCVL seems perfectly okay. Don't know why it's 10.0 BR. Let me know in the comments below. I know I said that a lot in this video, but I genuinely am a bit perplexed. I am a bit more of a fan of air RB. Doesn't mean I don't play ground RB. Of course, I do. But this doesn't feel like it's 10.0, you know? So just let me know in the comments below. I'm not really trying to make this gameplay into something where it's like a kill highlight reel. You know, I'm not Justin Plays where I'm so good where I can get like 4, 5, 6 kills. If you've seen that dude's stream, you know what I'm talking about. This dude just gets kills after kill. He gets so many kills in each match, and I'm not saying that sarcastically. The dude is truly great at this game. Same with Oddpaw. So I'm not like them where I'm like, you know, good enough where I can film and record like 8 kills in a match, and that's easy, you know. Rather, I just want to kind of show off the basic capabilities, discuss this vehicle, and kind of see if maybe it's something that you're worth or that it's worth purchasing. But either way, let me again know what you guys think about this vehicle, maybe the gameplay in the comments below. I am interested, but thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.